Let's listen to Jeb Bush. He started off by saying, I want to address income inequality. The American dream is missing for a lot of families. And he said, if you think conservatives don't care about urban America, you're wrong.
I know some in the media think conservatives don't care about the cities, but they're wrong. We believe that every American in every community has the right to pursue happiness. They have the right to rise.
The right to rise is his theme. Reform conservatism. George W. Bush ran on compassionate conservatism. George H.W. Bush said he wanted a kinder, gentler nation. What is Jeb Bush up to here in his first? He laid out a lot of problems. He did not provide a lot of solutions.
Right, and yeah, he has said those are to come at some point. Whether or not they'll be much different than things that we've already heard in terms of addressing poverty, we'll have to see. One of the interesting things about this, he's obviously going to the city. It's Detroit. It's a city that's obviously going through problems, bankruptcy, sort of rebounding. At this point, it is a way to say, listen, we care about urban people, i.e. black and brown people. In terms of the whole idea of poverty, it might have been better to actually go to the suburbs, because that's where poverty is really growing at a clip not seen really in the cities. But I think the backdrop here in saying we want to expand the party was really the message from this speech. And
he's trying to make the point that he wants to be different. Obviously, look, let's take him at his word that he cares about the cities, and we'll wait for the solutions and the proposals. The politics of this also are a Republican can't win the presidency if you don't get more non-white votes. Look at the last two elections. One of the things, Olivier, he knows he has to deal with came up in the Q&A. His name happens to be Bush. Our last two Republican presidents were named Bush. That was his brother and his father. And some people think, enough, move on. Here's Jeb Bush's answer to that.
Well, I know it's an interesting challenge for me, one that I have, if I have any degree of self-awareness, this would be the place where it might want to be applied. And so if I was to go beyond the consideration of running, I would have to deal with this and turn this fact into an opportunity to share who I am, to connect on a human level with people, so people begin to and offer ideas that are important to people, so that when they think of me, they think that I'm on their side.
To boil that down, he'd have to earn it.
Yeah, and it's really interesting when you listen to the speech, the Q&A, and if you read the exclusive interview that our friend Ron Fournier just put up this morning in the National Journal, you see him trying to ride two currents. One is deep public unhappiness with wage growth, and the other is deep public unhappiness with the two political parties. And so he's trying to stake out this turf where he says, I understand that you're suffering and you're not getting enough money, your wages aren't growing. On the other hand, you don't think that our two parties have the solution. Maybe I can ride this sort of middle ground here where I understand the problem and I'm not beholden to the old-style solutions.
Right. And he says both parties, he says the government, whether it's federal government, a lot of state governments are built for yesterday's economy. He thinks it's time to rip it up and do things new, saying a lot of things that are interesting. We'll see if he can put some meat on the bones. Here's one thing he said to Ron Fournier in the National Journal interview, that I get what he's trying to say, but it could be problems for him in the primaries. 13,174 government-run school systems is not the appropriate model of governance for this incredibly diverse group of kids who comprise the next generation of Americans. He's talking about economic competitiveness. But he also is on the record supporting Common Core.
Right.
Now, I want to see exactly what he means by that, and he'll spell it out. But if you're a grassroots Republican and you think education decisions should be made by parents, then teachers, then local school boards, not Washington, then the governor, then the mayor, you're going to say, what's he talking about there, right?
That's right. I mean, this is going to be a big issue. This is, I think, why he's doing so poorly in Iowa. This is why Huckabee had to go to Iowa and say, listen, I am not for Common Core anymore. I was for it before I'm against it. So this is a really big issue for him. I think, where does he, in what areas is he going to be able to really connect with that base? It's not going to be on immigration reform. It's not going to be on Common Core. So he's got to, is it going to be on foreign policy? But will that, have too many shades of Bush if he's too hawkish?
Or can he be a big enough leader to say, stop, think again. We have to think again in this economy. And I've rethought some of my positions. I need you to rethink yours. We'll see if he can be persuasive as a candidate.